Good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Cooper, known as the Channel Guy Trader, and I'm reporting to you live from Wall Street Trading's Miami office down in sunny South Florida. Today's date is Monday, December the 2nd, 2013, and here is today's After the Bell Market Summary video brought to you by WallStreetTrading.com. Just a quick reminder, if you have not been to the website yet, go check it out. There's a lot of informative information in regards to different trading strategies on the blog section. At the same time, you can find our videos there on the website if you do not have a YouTube channel, or if you don't have a YouTube subscription that you started where you could view your different videos, of course, that you subscribe to the channel, or you could look at the different information that we have in regards to joining our proprietary trading firm. So you can contact me at ccooper at wallstreettrading.com, or you can use the contact us button on top of the home page in the upper right hand side. Aside from that, let's go ahead and take a look at the markets here. The Dow closed down 77.5, the Nasdaq closed down 14.5, and the S&P 500 closed down close to 5 points. Taking a look at the breadth in the markets today, we had 4,656 issues declining on the NYSE, Nasdaq, and the AMEX. We had 1,722 issues advancing on the NYSE, Nasdaq, and the AMEX. Therefore, breadth was definitely in favor of the bears today. If you take a look at the sector heat map here on my other screen, we saw some weakness in the technology sector today. We had AT&T down over 1%. Apple was down close to 1%. ACAM was down over 1.25%. CTXS, a software company, down close to 2%. Sprint had some profit taking going on here, down 2.25 today. Saw some selling pressure in the services sector. Some of the retailers that have been doing pretty well, JCPenney, Macy's, Sears, a couple of these names have down today. GME, GameStop down today. Best Buy traded pretty strong today in the morning session. Not sure what it did in the afternoon. We'll take a look at that chart there, though, up 1.25%. Some weakness, so some profit taking, you could call it, in the financial names. Even they held up pretty well today, and some mixed action in the basic material sector. We did have gold make a new year low, still getting hit pretty hard, and that's the new year. I have to check if that's a new year low. Let me see here real quick. Yeah, we did have gold. Gold didn't make a new year low yet, but it did break outside of this little range that we were trading in after it had the big initial sell bar that caused a nice little thrust of selling pressure or selling sentiment right here about 2 weeks ago. Sideways consolidation chop and then another leg down. So we should see another breakdown, I would guess, to 1200 sometime this week, I'm expecting. And most likely maybe this 1180 level from back here in early July. So gold's looking pretty weak. We'll talk about that here shortly. I want to go over some stocks and I want to go over the markets first. So let's go ahead and take a look at the SPY, which is the S&P 500 ETF. Quick things here, looking at the volume down at the bottom of the screen. You can see ever since we had that initial move from the pivot right here, volume has been declining as we've been rallying into these new highs. You can see here the volume spikes declining. So we're going to be looking to see how this volume picks up, because if it does start to pick up and we start to reverse to the downside, we could have some nice selling pressure. Other than that, we have some support that will be coming in around the 178.85 level. That would be a bounce off of the rising 20-day moving average. We have bounced off this level before, as you can see from right here. Bounced right off that 20-day exponential simple moving average. Again, right here we bounced off that moving average at 20, and then we're going to be watching that 20 again right here around 179. All right, then we should have some little short-term support at 180, the whole number. The ES closed at 1799.75, so we closed a little bit under that 1800 psychological level that a lot of traders will be watching. So going into tomorrow's session, you want to watch today's lows. I would say if the SPY trades below 180, we can see some decent selling pressure. If we hold today's lows, we can have to watch today's highs on the SPY around 180, 143. Then, of course, Friday's highs that we made around 180, 175. Taking a look at the triple Qs, which was showing some relative strength this morning until, of course, it started selling off with the rest of the markets here. I triple Qs down a little over 0.25%, down 25 cents. Still above the rising short-term or fast-moving averages here, the 8 and the 5. So still it's pretty decent, just a regular pullback day today. If you take a look at the IWM, which showed some relative weakness today, which was down close to 1%, while the other indices were only down about on average about 0.5% or less. You can see how the IWM did get some selling pressure today, and you can see that we're going to be watching this level pretty closely, the 111.45 level, 111.5, call it, for the prior resistance. Should act as support, and that's also going to line up with that 50% median trend line from the big upward channel that we have. Let's go ahead and take a look at the volatility index, which got a nice little late day bounce. You can see we're back above this 1350 level. This little consolidation area that we had on watch from before is acting as support, this little buy zone or little demand zone down here. So we'll be watching this 1350 close. If we can get back above, say, 14.5 or better yet 15, we could see a nice little pop in volatility. So far, you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 consecutive higher closes, and we did get a close over this. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 6 week resistance right here, closing price resistance around. Let's see what level that is. Around 14 quarter or so. We closed at 14.23. It's actually around. It's around. We closed above this 14.14 level, so that's pretty bullish. If you're looking for that volatility index to pick up, you would want to see a break and hold above 15. Like I said, if you expect volatility to start making its way back above 16. Let's go ahead and take a look at that U.S. dollar, the currency action, then we'll take a look at the commodity space here. Looking at the currency action, U.S. dollar index holding this nice bid down here around 80.50 for the past 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks now. It looks like it may be developing in a range, between $80.50 and this upper level right here of 81.50. So you're looking at about a dollar range there. Off this low, we have to continue to watch this. If the dollar does move up with some strength, we'll have to see how the other asset classes react to that. Okay, so we'll be watching that pretty close. And looking at the euro dollar. All right, the euro dollar has been trading pretty strong, or at least coming back up towards the top of that range up there. And it did get smacked down a little bit today. I would say keep an eye on this little pivot low, and this pivot low, draw that little trend line in there. Okay, and we'll see how that comes into play. What else? Taking a look at the commodity space now, starting off with gold. Of course, gold's going to be on a lot of people's radar tomorrow because they want to see how it's going to trade. We're going to be watching it overnight. Gold was very weak again here. It broke down outside that range. We're going to be looking for those targets around 1200 and 1180. You can see we had this big push lower right here. Sideways consolidation for about a week or so. A little over a week, and then we just broke down again today. As long as we can hold below, say, 1240, I would expect some more selling pressure again down to 1200, maybe 1180. All right, if you take a look at the gold miners, GDX, all right, or the GDXJ for the gold mining juniors, new year lows, and I would say this thing's getting ready to break the 2008 support that it had on the monthly chart right here on the 21 area. So this thing continues to hold below 21. Look for the gold miners to get some real selling pressure. You can already see how we have this nice little volume starting to pick up here. Volume starting to pick up here to the sell side. So I'll continue to watch that, and we'll play it by ear. Hold on one second, please. All right, guys. So back to looking at the GDX gold miners. They're breaking down. If you look at the GDXJ really got hit today. Those are the junior gold miners. All right, they were down close to 7%. This thing is making new all-time lows as it's a new ETF that came out back here in November of 2009 and looks to go much lower. I would not be in the camp of bottom picking these names. Over the weekend, I talked about the silver miner PAAS, which was showing some good relative strength and divergence, and it still has some decent support around 10. This is maybe I would say the only mining stock I would be watching to see how it reacts if it continues to hold around this 975, 1125 area. It's actually a decent area on the monthly chart, but of course, it's not ready to bounce yet, as we're going to need the whole sector to bounce to really get some traction in some of these mining names. So keep them on watch, as they could still go a little bit lower. All right, you do not want to try to bottom pick these names. If you are looking at getting into these names, you want to wait to see which ones are going to show relative strength when gold finally does, or in silver finally does decide to get some type of bounce. All right, when that decides to come. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about some key names. Apple computers down close to $5. All right, was down over 1%, but was able to rally a little bit off the lows. But you can see here is down 0.87%, closed right near its lows though, and a little topping tail action there. All right, if we take this as a classic setup that we have in our chat room, which our chat room is My Wall Street TV, in regards to like a channel or range break play. All right, of course, this is our little breakout. We have our extension move. We want to sell into that momentum move, and now we're going to be looking for that pullback into the breakout level 526 for an official back test and a higher move back up, or a higher pivot low right in front of that breakout level, and then for a move back up. We get an official back test. We chop around, we break right back down below 526. That would not be bullish, and you would expect prices to move back down towards 512. So we're watching Apple. Again, this Apple strength has caused the NASDAQ to definitely move up pretty nicely, as Apple makes up 13% of the NASDAQ 100. Amazon has been on fire. Uh, we've been talking about the stock, of course, ever since it broke out earlier in the year. Stock has been on fire. You can see it gapped up today, which was a perfect opportunity for those players to take profits. Wouldn't be a big fan of shorting Apple. I saw some guys on my Twitter and on the Facebook saying they were buying some puts in Amazon, and it's had a nice run, but it's still strong. I mean, it's a leading stock in the Nasdaq. You really want to be careful shorting the stock. I wouldn't try to short the stock until it shows me like a lower high on the daily, such as this, or something like a little lower high, and starts breaking down, or it shows some type of resistance and then just rounding tops and starts rolling over, because this is like a power trend going on. But Amazon, keep an eye on it. Still looks pretty good as a stock to buy on dips. May need to pull back a bit, or in other words, just maybe consolidate a bit and take out some of its overboughtness on the charts via time. Amazon though looks good still. Bank of America held a pretty decent day, only down 0.5%. You can see it's having some short-term resistance at 16. May pull back a bit. Has had a nice run from 14 to 16 in the matter of 1, 2, 3 weeks or so. Bank of America, all these other financial names, JP Morgan, these names may experience some short-term selling pressure, as it has been a strong sector. And if the markets were going to experience any selling pressure, people will be looking to get rid of these names, especially those players that didn't buy it down here, that they've been chasing these names for the past 3 days, and they really haven't been making any returns since they've been trading kind of sideways. Goldman Sachs, another name that looks pretty interesting, showed some relative strength today, held up pretty well, closed up 0.5%. You can see it went right closer to our got closer to our target right here above the top of the channel, which is around 173 or so. So Goldman Sachs still hanging in there. Let's see what else we got. Citigroup on the docket here, still having trouble breaking past this 53.30, 53 half level. Has been short-term resistance since last week. What's that? Last week Monday, and may pull back in a bit along with the other financials. Again, they have had a nice run, a real nice fast run for like the past 2 weeks or so. What else? IBM down over 1%. Still weak, not the best technology stock. So you could automatically tell by looking at the charts going from your upper left to your bottom right. So it's in a downtrend. You want to be in a name that's in a uptrend from your bottom left to your upper right. Easy way, of course, to look at charts when you're doing your research and say, okay, this stock's showing relative strength, or this stock's showing relative weakness. So IBM is definitely showing some relative weakness to the tech sector. What about these momentum names? Tesla, all right, down $3.11 a day. A lot of players are watching this 120 level on Tesla. Continue to do so. Netflix, which has been grinding higher, had some profit taking today. Again, still slow, steady grind higher. Fighting back and getting back some of its price action from when it gapped up from that good earnings report, and they sold it all the way down huge that day. So still fighting back. You can now see it is above it is back inside the upper 50% range of that big sell bar. So Netflix looking pretty decent. Again, you got to be careful buying a stock like this that's grinding higher, as you never know when it's going to give you maybe a big bar down or something. So unless you got on it, unless you sorry, let me rephrase that. Unless you were able to enter the position down here around 341, I would be careful buying the stock up here around 364 or so. All right, so Netflix still looking pretty decent though. Microsoft, MSFT has been another strong name in the technology space. You can see this one's breaking out of little high base, pattern right here with support around 37, resistance around 38 quarter or so, and it broke out today, and should be looking for some more fall through if some of these technology stocks start to show some little pockets of strength in different names. Some rotation going on. Maybe Microsoft is strong for the next 3 days, while the other names that were, strong show some weakness, something like that. Some little rotation going on. But we'll see. Microsoft definitely another leader in the technology space. Biotechs, you had some action in there. I'm not really going to go over those names. Those names have been popping up across the board. One name that I will go over is Kirk's because I gave an alert out on this symbol over the holiday weekend, and it had some nice follow through today. Again, if you're not following us on our Facebook page, Wall Street Trading, I would recommend you do so, as we do post a lot of our trade ideas on that on the company page for Facebook. At the same time, we have been very active on Twitter and StockTwit, so you want to make sure you follow us at Wall Street Trade, WALLST Trade. Triple M, I'm not sure what the news was out here in this name, but the stock did get smacked down today. Wide range bar, heavy volume. I would expect some type of selling in this name tomorrow, or if it doesn't sell exactly in the morning and it rallies in the first part of the day, I would expect them to maybe rally it for the first part of the day and then look to try to get short the name in the afternoon or the late afternoon, going into the market closes. Going into the market close, as you see, this had some heavy selling, really selling for the whole day here. Looks like by just looking at the daily chart, not even looking at the intraday time frame. So again, a big move down like this, it may have a little pause day tomorrow, or again, it could have a fall through day tomorrow. That's why you want to watch a tape action on it, have your levels on it, and see what areas to watch. Most likely, we'll be watching this name tomorrow morning in our chat room, so come check it out. What else? See, TRV looks like they got smacked down a little bit today, along with Berkshire, which was down 1%. So some profit taking going on in TRV. The stock's gonna have some decent support around 88. Just look at this little pivot level that we have from over here to when they sold it right in front of that 88 level right here to when it tried to break out right there until it finally broke out. So 88 is going to be a good level to watch in that TRV, going into the rest of the week here. If we hold that level in the market tries to catch a bid, maybe sometime tomorrow, midday or something, I would watch this around 88. What else? You got some guys in the room trading CAMT, CAMT, little low float stock that has some news behind it regarding, I think, 3D printing or something. Again, these names, these little small cap names that are popping up, they're decent to trade in today's. They have a lot of volume, but you definitely want to make sure you're managing your risk in them, put your stops in, because they could easily drop the bid in a flash, and you could end up being not a happy camper. So you want to make sure if you're trading these stops like CAMT and Zoom and all these little funky stocks that me personally I do not trade, you want to be careful with those names. What else? Let's see what else is going on the docket here. You can take a look at names such as Facebook. Facebook held in there pretty steady today. Still looking pretty decent. Triple D, some more technology names that a lot of people are trading. Triple D looks pretty good. I like it. I think this thing's going back up towards the highs. I do like the whole idea behind 3D printing, as I'm sure a lot of other investors and traders do. So these names have been pretty active. I would continue to keep an eye on these names. Triple D, SYSS, I believe it is, or SSYS, I think it is. Yeah, SSYS. Keep an eye on this name. If it breaks over this 120 area or so, could get a nice little pop back up and start making its way back up towards the highs. As let's take a look at the 60-minute chart here. Quick look at the 60-minute chart and show extended session. Okay, so quick look at the 60-minute chart. You can see this thing could get some traction if it gets over this 120 half area. So keep an eye on this name. It's been trading in the range between 120 half and say 115 or so. What else? That's about it, guys. We do have a lot of other names on watch. Natural gas has been trading pretty strong. LNG, a stock that we mentioned throughout the year, continues to be a strong energy name. Keep an eye on this one for a move back towards the highs. It has been building support around the 39 level for about the past 3 weeks now. High of the year, all-time high. Well, actually, not the all-time high, but the 52-week high is right there around 42.61. So definitely keep an eye on that name. Baidu, some of the Chinese names, been trading pretty strong. Baidu is getting ready for a breakout over 170. I would keep an eye on that name. Take a look at Sohu. Sohu had a nice little pop up on Friday. Little pause day today, but it's giving you a nice little trade through 68 tomorrow if you get some traction. So a couple names out there, folks. Again, join us in the chat room, mywallstreettv.com. Have a great day. I'll catch you guys bright and early in the room at 8:30, the latest. Cheers. Have a good one.